daily salaries, the small but legendary restaurant, such as that operated only on weekends by Mrs. Effie Cambridge at the corner of Blue Hill Road and Cambridge Lane, was renowned for its outstanding delicacies in native dishes. Over the Hill was not an economically vibrant neighborhood during my youth, but those residents who were not permanently employed out-town or were not tradesmen or mechanics were usually innovative in making a living as street-side or itinerant vendors. Fish vendors purchased their supplies from the main fish market on Bay Street or from nearby sloops moored west of the Prince George Dock. And they packed their fish in wheelbarrows which they carted over the hill. They carted them from street to street, heralding their arrival to prospective customers by shouting, "Fishman, fishman," as they walked along, pushing their supply of fresh fish and come for sale. In the same way, some enterprising women would walk through the district carrying large trays of vegetables on their heads, making daily sales to house owners who had not gone out to the market. Others carried on their heads huge bundles of dried grass, tied in a bed sheet as they moved through the neighborhood, shouting, bad grass," which was regularly purchased by persons who could not afford regular mattresses, and utilized this native material to make homemade mattresses for their beds. This entrepreneurial spirit was even prevalent amongst the youth. Newspaper deliveries to subscribers, as well as street sites, were handled by teenage boys who went through the streets of the area every evening delivering newspapers to their customers for making sales. Young boys also earned a livelihood by selling hot peanuts from box carts, which they made themselves from wooden crates mounted on wheels, usually old skate wheels, with a burning coal stove in the bottom compartment to keep the peanuts warm. Of course, the regular means of transport in those days were horse-drawn carriages, which is now today only a tourist attraction. Horse-drawn drays and donkey carts were used for transporting wholesale freight and large supplies being delivered to retail establishments over the hill. Individuals either rode bicycles or walked wherever they had to go. There were comparatively very few motor cars. But of course, in those days, the usual destinations were all within walking distance. In those early years, religion was a dominant feature of life. The majority of the early settlers were Anglicans, Methodists, Roman Catholics, Baptists, and Church of God. Prior to the 1940s, there was only one or two churches of each such denomination. St. Agnes and later St. Barnabas were the two Anglican churches which served Grantstown and Baintown. Grantstown Wesley was the only Methodist church over there, while Our Lady's and St. Joseph's were the church homes for those Roman Catholics who did not wish to make the trek up the hill to St. Francis on the Lancey town. The Baptist churches were Metropolitan on Hay Street, where I lived, Transfiguration on Market and Vesey Streets, and St. Paul through Fire Street. Although many Baptists went up on Delancey Street to Bethel and to St. John's on Meeting Street. The very first Church of God was established by the late Bishop W.V. Enos, father of the late Dr. Cleveland W. Enos. This congregation first worshipped on a site in Hospital Lane South, then moved to Enos Jumper Corner until they relocated the present cathedral at the junction of East Street and Lily of the Valley, or Red Line Bar Corner. Apart from the churches, which have certainly multiplied in abundance over the last 50 years, the social life of the over-the-hill community was fully supplied by the lodges, friendly societies, nightclubs, and sporting organizations. The more entertaining form of after-work activity was provided by the nightclubs, which were legendary. Strangely, none of them now exist. There was Weary Willie's at the corner of Blue Hill Road and Fire Street, which was a 3-story structure with a restaurant and shops on the ground floor, hotel rooms on the 2nd floor, and a nightclub on the top floor. The Silver Slipper on East Street, the Zanzibar on Blue Hill Road, and the Cat and Fiddle on Nassau Street South operated almost on a nightly basis, both as dance halls and nightclubs, and also as fundraising venues for charities and social organizations which did not have access, as they do today, to the hotels and what were then white establishments, to which black and colored patrons were at that time racially barred. Music was a predominant feature of the day life, of the day-to-day life over the hill. Practically every single child went to music lessons, in addition to the regular day school attendance, to study music and to learn to play the piano, violin, saxophone, or some other instrument. The teachers were usually a church organist or a member of a band or orchestra, or some other accomplished musician in the district. And there were many. Names that immediately come to mind are Charles Ware, Bert Cambridge, W.A.G. Bain, Blanche Horton Stewart, later Wright, Charlie Carey, Nat Bosfield, Butler Roberts, who was also the father of Persis Rogers, Rudy Williams, Freddie Manning Sr., Eric Cash, Maurice Harvey, Eric Russell, those last 4 are still alive today, and Sir Buck Marshall. There were also many musical performers in the entertainment field, such as Sidney Wood, Eloise Lewis, Joe Lord, Maureen DeValier, who is still alive, Charlie Adamson, and Joe Billy Rowe, who was renowned for his Saturday night jump and dance sessions in the Cat Island Association Hall through